We're back with the final dungeon of Mega Man Legends 1. It's pink, and it's got a pretty happy tune. This doesn't look like a final dungeon at all.
Mega Man, be careful. I don't like the looks of this place.
What are you talking about? It's pink and there's light down the corridor, Roll. I don't know what you're so worried about. Alright, so this first room of the dungeon has a bunch of the shield Reaver bots, and they're really annoying to deal with because the hitboxes on them actually don't seem to want to activate when they're supposed to. Yeah. I brought the Active Buster so I could demo it, even though the homing capabilities of the weapon don't really show down here. Well, I suppose that, yeah, when I fired that missile, it feels like it should have damaged the Reaverbot because the explosion was behind him, but it didn't because the hitbox hadn't activated. Yeah, these guys are annoying. In Legends 2, the enemy returns, but there are plenty of ways to actually remove the shield and make them much easier to deal with. Still pretty annoying though, because they add status effects in that game too. So here's probably the final hole in the wall in the game. I'll remember every time the game told me I found a refractor shard. 10,000 Zenny.
It's a spiral, and it goes down a long way too.
So we have a spiral with oddly strange lighting. Anyhow, this chest contains Buster Unit Omega. It is one of the best Buster parts in the game. It raises your attack power by 3 and, what is it, range by 3, I think? Anyway, combining this with a laser means you can have maxed attack power. Yeah, attack and range. So the best Buster part combinations are probably the laser, Buster Unit Omega, and one other Buster part of your choice. You can equip the sniper unit for maximum, the sniper scope, excuse me. You could equip the sniper scope for maxed range, or the auto battery for maxed energy. And suddenly, I like this dungeon a whole lot more because Roll never talks to you. She actually doesn't say anything at all until, like, you beat the final boss. So she just kind of never talks to you again, never asks about what you find down here. Really odd. Alright, so we've got a control panel here. This was behind a locked door when we entered this room by sequence breaking earlier in the game. Yeah, this is the room that we sequence broke into. Alright, so there's apparently this thing called the Central Gate, which requires 3 keys, and we can unlock something called the Sub-Cities. More dungeons, just what we need. A breach of security is exactly what we need right now.
The switch I just pulled should have activated the portals to the living quarters. They should have appeared somewhere on the island. Guess it's time to start looking for them.
Mega Man, how do you know the sub-cities are living quarters? I'm guessing something was lost in translation here because, like, there was no mention of any sort of living quarters for an ancient race of Reaverbot people. Yeah, they don't exactly talk about this much, but then again, the Legends series never had the chance to expand on the lore too much, and I am almost dead. I do not know why I bothered fighting this thing. I guess I wanted some extra energy from the cube, but now I've only got 2 bars of health left. Yeah, I should probably go back to the store and refill my energy canteen and buy a shield repair, and now we can do the next boss fight. So this building that we saw earlier in the game, I told you that if you entered it before you were supposed to, it would trap you inside because there's no exit. Because the building is only used for a cutscene, now's the time to actually go inside. Let's see what we can find in here. Metal Gear? It really does look like a Metal Gear.
Wow, that's pretty big. I wonder what it is.
Mega Man, look very closely at it. Yes, you see?
Wait, that mark.
Diesel, you better not be eating that entire pizza yourself. Huh? Hey, you! Do you know what happened to us thanks to you? I thought I was going to die! Huh?
You're alive. That's wonderful!
This cutscene is just beautiful.
Let me!
What the hold up, Prawn? If you don't hurry up, there's not gonna be any pizza left. Huh? You. What are you doing here? Tron? Hurry up, get on board. It's time to activate Bruno.
Okay, that's the least intimidating boss name ever. Bruno!
Masterpiece! You're welcome to try and stop us. But you won't stand a chance this time. See you!
Wait!
Thanks for waiting, Teasel! Let's go! Everyone ready? We're moving out! Roger! Miss Tron looks happy.
Yeah, she wasn't kidding about this boss being kind of a toughie. For first-timers, this is really one of the most difficult fights in the game, and I'm going in with only 2 little bars of health left and no shield, and yeah. This is gonna be fun. Behold! Today is the day weapons learn to walk upright! Yeah, I had to sneak in a Metal Gear Solid reference somehow. Seriously, it's a bipedal walking robot! Like, the Bonds were doing the whole Metal Gear thing before Metal Gear Solid was even a thing! Well, I suppose Metal Gear started on the MSX, so what am I thinking? Alright, so the fight with Bruno. This boss is very dangerous to approach because it's armed to the teeth. The shoulders fire missiles every so often, and the legs actually shoot bombs at you, so you really want to approach this guy from behind. And every so often it'll turn around and fire those green energy balls that the Bonds love so much. So you want to stay behind this guy, and you want to shoot at the spine because that's the weak point, but, like, you can actually shoot at the legs and the shoulders as well, and I almost got hit there. That was a close one. The good news is you can use those black elevator portals as shields because they're impervious to damage. You can hide behind the other buildings as well when it fires, but yeah, you just saw that building, and yeah, that was very embarrassing. I tumble dodged into the green ball. I have no idea why I did that. But anyhow, as you saw, the buildings, fences, and other obstacles are destructible except for the black underground elevator portal thing. Nintendo Power thinks it's called a black gate. I don't know why. So yeah, you want to stay behind him, hide behind the elevator when he turns around to shoot, and, you know, just fire at the spine. This is not a very difficult fight if you have the auto battery and maxed attack power, because you can just point and shoot when his back is facing towards you. And at some point I do try to fire the active buster at him, but due to the lock-on in this game being strange, like, the lock-on will actually lock onto the feet and the shoulders in order to destroy those weapons, which you can do, but it's very much faster to just shoot at the spine, which is what I'm going to do for a couple more minutes here. So yeah, the biggest concern in this fight is how dangerous it is, because, you know, this guy does a lot of damage. It's late in the game. They really want to make sure you're prepped for the final boss, because if you can't pass this guy, you're not headed for the final part of the game. I actually don't think you can destroy this building. Actually, I'm pretty sure only the green energy balls destroy the buildings, while the bombs destroy the fence there. But I'm pretty sure that the missiles don't affect the buildings. Anyhow, you might wonder if I have to pay for all of the damage here like I did with one of the earlier missions. And yeah, there's the active buster not having enough range to shoot at it. The active buster is just a weapon that you have to invest a lot of money into in order for it to be good, which is why I don't like using it as a weapon. Anyhow, you don't have to pay for any of the damages here. I think all of the buildings, except for the giant warehouse in the center, I think they all auto-repair when you leave the area and come back. And yeah, that building is destructible, alright. And I make the mistake of moving onto it too. You don't want to move to any of the destroyed buildings because the elevation is going to be very strange. Like, watch what happens right here. Yeah, that was really weird. Should have just tumble dodged or got behind the building or something. Anyways, yeah, if you get to the surface like right before entering the building and your life bar isn't full, you probably want to just call roll and get out of there. You can call roll before entering the boss battle, but she will take you outside of the fenced-in area, so you actually have to go back underground and come back up again, which might be annoying, but if your life bar is too low to fight this guy, what are you gonna do? Probably do what I just did, and no damage run it.
Okay, Blue Boy, I must know, what's your name?
Me? My name is Mega Man. Mega Man Volnut.
Mega Man, is it? You know, I've been in this business a long time, but this is the first time anyone's ever given me this much trouble. Yet, it feels good somehow, being beaten by you like this. Almost as though I've met my match.
Teasel!
I can face the facts. I lost, you won. I'm gonna try to forget this entire incident. Ah, it feels good to say that. My heart feels as clean as the blue sky on a cloudless day. See you around, Mega Man.
Wait!
Then, does this mean I'll never see him again?
Tron. Once he finds the treasure, we'll wait for our chance and take it from him.
What?
You didn't think I was going to just walk away, did you?
Oh, of course not. Now that's the Teasel I know.
You bet it is. Old Teasel never gives up. I'll get that treasure sooner or later, one way or the other.
You know, I'm pretty sure Mega Man was still in earshot, but whatever. Alright, so I realize I haven't really... Well, first thing I'm going to do is call roll and get my life bar refilled, because, oh my god, I can't go into the next area with a not full life bar, now can I? I'm going to take this opportunity to show off a couple more of these special weapons. Like, I've recorded all the way through to the end of the game, but I actually just remembered that I missed showing off one of the weapons. It was the Spread Buster that I missed out on showing, but just imagine the Grand Grenade, except it shoots like a bunch of bombs. Pretty good weapon because you can concentrate all of its firepower on a single target if you get close enough. Anyways, about the area that I'm in, I haven't really talked about this area. This place is called the Old City. It's basically the location of the Catalox power plant and little else. There's actually an entire... Oh yeah, there are dogs in this area. They can actually attack you. Now, these guys you're allowed to kick, unlike the dog from earlier in the game, which they stopped you from kicking in the North American release. So yeah. You can only kick them once, though. They're docile after that. And you can't shoot your buster at them, either. So there's actually an entire area of the Old City that you can go to, but there's nothing of interest there, gameplay-wise, except for like a couple of NPCs that talk about the power being drained somehow because the bonds were sapping energy from the plant. Alright, so the sub-cities. There are 3 sub-cities on the overworld now, and it's our job to go in there, kill all the enemies, and take the keys to the central gate from them. And we're introduced to a new enemy type. This guy, his head kind of reminds me of a hippopotamus, so I just call him the Hippobot. They've got a lot of firepower in them, though, but circle strafing usually gets you through this. For this area, I'm using the shield arm, which, as you can see, generates a small shield. It's kind of okay for blocking shots, and some enemies will actually ram right into the shield with their own moves. Like, if they try to ram into you, they'll hit the shield. And I did spend 20,000 Zenny to increase the size of the shield, but really the shield arm is not that great a weapon. I prefer just like why would you not shoot at enemies? Why do you have to keep blocking enemies? You can block projectiles with a shield. That's pretty, you know, that's some sort of utility you can get out of it that the weapons don't have, but circle strafing is still the best way to stop yourself from getting hit. Anyhow, the Hippo Reaver bots have two variations, a red one and a green one. I believe the green one can scatter bombs if it's too far away from you. And the annoying thing about the sub-cities is that the Reaver bots that you have to destroy, they're actually spread out all over the town. You can see that the walking Reaver bots and their, whatever the controllers are called, the controllers are all placed like on top of buildings and stuff, so you have to actually search them out. It can be very annoying, and if one of the Reaver bots decides to tuck itself into a corner, you kind of have to like search every part of the sub-city in order to find them. Yeah, but you do get quite a bit of Zenny from these Reaver bots. The sub-cities can actually be a very good grinding location, especially the second one, because the enemies drop a lot of money, and after you exit the sub-city, you're typically like sitting right next to the support car anyways. But the thing to keep in mind is that the first time you go in the sub-cities, you have to destroy all the enemies before you can escape, because the door locks as soon as you're in. Something about a breach of security, I don't know. I guess the security system of these places actually still kind of works, like even after so much time of nobody using them. And yeah, I decided to be a goofball and try to use the shield arm as a weapon. I have no idea how much damage it's actually doing. In fact, it's probably not doing any damage at all. It would probably take my entire energy meter to actually destroy an enemy with it.
That sounded like a door opening somewhere. I'd better take a look around.
Jeez, that line was just delivered with such drama to it. I'd better take a look around. Yeah. The shield arm is also one of the weapons you're allowed to give infinite ammo, if you care.
Got it! I better get back to the surface.
Alright, 1 key down, 2 more to go, because it's always 3 keys, right? And the other thing that's annoying about the sub-cities is that it can be difficult to remember where the entrance was. So yeah, I wound up skating around this area for a few minutes before I remembered. There's the door. Alright, let's get out of here. Next sub-city. There's one in downtown and there's one in uptown. So we'll be revisiting those places one more time. And there's also one final side quest we have to take on, which is available after you beat Bruno, but I'm going to wait a little while until all the sub-cities are finished. Next weapon I'm showing off will be the grenade arm, which I've mentioned is a really terrible weapon. It's basically like the Grand Grenade, except the grenades are slower, they don't do as much damage, and when they land on the ground they take a couple seconds to explode. One of the advantages of the grenade arm actually is that you don't have to stop moving in order to throw the grenades. You can actually throw the grenades while moving or even while jumping. There are actually not that many weapons in this game that you are allowed to use while moving or jumping. I think the Machine Buster and the Grenade Arm are 2 of the only weapons to allow that, actually. Alright, so this sub-city has more hippopotamus Reaver bots. They've got more of those weird jumper Reaver bots whose legs are not wide enough to actually get hit by the grenades. They keep going underneath. But yeah, a maxed out Buster Gun is actually really effective here. Like if you have the attack and energy max. So this is, yeah, just use the Buster. And be sure to avoid other Reaver bots besides the one you're focusing on. Don't be a goofball like me. Alright, so we'll just pick up all the money. This is the sub-city I was talking about that is really good for grinding, by the way. You can just come in here with a Grand Grenade or something and use up all of its ammo and rake in about 20,000 Zenny if you clean out all the enemies. And if your range is high enough, you can probably just shoot these guys from afar anyways. So I have no idea what I'm doing trying to throw grenades at this one. Maybe the grenade arm isn't that bad if you're circle strafing and have its attack power maxed, but you can see that the ammo is just tremendously awful. The ammo count, that is. I have no idea how much it takes to max out this weapon. It's sad to see all that Zenny disappear too. How does it disappear? It just kind of like fades out of existence, and like, does it fade out of existence if Mega Man picks it up? Yeah. Video game logic. Just video game logic. I actually don't think the grenade arm takes more than 50,000 zenny to fully max out, so maybe it's not that expensive to turn it into something decent, but like I'm still gonna say that all of your money is better spent on just about any other weapon in the game. The drill arm is good for its utility, the vacuum arm is good for its utility, and the spread buster, shining laser, and grand grenade are all probably the best weapons in this game.
Huh? That sounded like a door opening somewhere. I better take a look around.
Wouldn't want to interrupt Mega Man from his dramatic, "I'd better take a look around" line. That'd be just... Alright, so key number 2. Watcher key and sleeper key. This is getting strange.
2. Just one more.
And just one more and this quest is finally over with. We can enter the final rooms of the game and fight the final boss. Yeah, at least that entrance was like right across from the door where you entered to get the key. Alright, so that leaves the Uptown sub-city. Oh yeah, and you can talk with the NPCs. They all have things to say about the underground entrances that just popped up in the middle of town. How convenient is it, by the way, that all of these underground entrances are like right in the middle of the town? They just built the town on top of the underground city and they never saw it. Speaking of the underground cities, like, I don't show it, I think, but if you look up while you're underground, you can see the moon and the stars. I have no idea what's going on there. How can you see the stars when you're underground? Is there some kind of holograph projector, or did somebody really want it to look like they were in space even though they were underground? Many, many questions that haven't really been answered because the lore of Mega Man Legends never had the chance to be fully fleshed out, I feel. Like, they didn't care too much about it in Legends 1 because the plot wasn't really a huge focus of the game. They just wanted to make a fun 3D Mega Man, and they certainly did that. But in Legends 2, that game is a lot more plot intensive, and there are actually a couple things I would like them to go back and talk about in Legends 1. Anyhow, this third sub-city contains a boss, which means you can't really use it for grinding because the boss is gone permanently once you destroy him. And he's actually one of the most annoying bosses in the game. What he does is he just runs around the city, spawning Reaverbots out of his butt, for some reason, and you have to shoot him there when it opens up. Now, I've brought the Machine Buster with me. The Machine Buster is a really weird weapon. It's actually kind of okay against this boss, because you just point and rapid fire. And we've already destroyed one of the sections, and the explosion from that can actually hurt you, as I just found out. You learn something new every day. But yeah, here the hitbox was just weird. I have no idea what happened there. So I tried again, and this time I was actually getting hits, but that actually gave the Reaverbot time to actually shoot at me. I suppose you could rack up some money just by destroying these Reaverbots, but it's very slow compared to just destroying everything in the second sub-city. Because, like, they don't drop nearly as much. Each Reaverbot here is, like, worth only 1,000, and each Reaverbot in the other sub-cities was worth at least 3,000 or 4,000, if my math is correct. So yeah, this guy annoys speedrunners because there's a 50-50 chance he goes left when he wants to turn, and if he doesn't turn in the correct direction, you'll be further away from the sub-city exit than you would normally be. So yeah, that's one way this guy can annoy you. You just lose 30 seconds off your speedrun if he decides to go in the wrong direction. So I'll just be finishing him off. The Machine Buster is kind of an okay weapon. One weird thing about it is that you actually don't want to increase the special of this weapon. Raising special causes the Buster shots to spread out further and further. Anyhow, that's him dealt with.
Huh? That sounded like a door opening somewhere. I better take a look around.
So yeah, as I was saying, the Machine Buster increases its spread if you upgrade the special, so you don't want to do that because it makes it harder to aim.
Now all
Yeah, and I accidentally skipped the line there, but it's probably not that big a deal. There's the exit. It was very close to the key this time, which is called the Dreamer Key. Watcher, Sleeper, and Dreamer. I have no idea if that is symbolic of anything, but, you know, knowing this game, it probably is. There are actually like a dozen or so different little nods to history, mythology, other TV shows that were running like in the 80s. Like, I know Capcom loves its ancient old anime references, but like there were actually a lot more that I missed. Anyhow, we're switching to the Shining Laser now, and it still costs quite a bit to upgrade all of its stats, but I think I will stick to the base stats, because even at its base level, it's actually very good. It inflicts a lot of damage. You just point and fire, as you saw in that previous boss battle. But now we're headed to the forest, because there's actually a side quest that you can activate. I have no idea how anyone was supposed to figure out this one, but, you know, some of these side quests, like, you don't really get told that they're there. You have to explore to find them. But this one is just strange. You have to look at the TV here.
This just in. We've received word that armed robbers have stormed the bank and made off with a large sum of money.
I don't envy the mayor her job. What with stuff like this happening all the time?
Well, it doesn't seem to be happening all the time, but yeah. Also, you notice that we brought the cat into the flutter. I have no idea why Mega Man suddenly decided to adopt a cat. Maybe we'll name him Tango and take him on missions with us. That's actually pretty cool. Kind of makes me wish the Legends universe had a robot dog now. Anyhow, the cat doesn't really do anything as far as I know. But it's just there, I guess. I was going to say something else. What was it? Oh well, I guess I'll just focus on the side quest right here. They actually don't let you go anywhere else but downtown, because that's where the side quest takes place. Like, after you activate it, you have to go down there. Very odd. So, we can see that there's a police chase in progress.
Stop! Stop!
And yeah, you can shoot at the police car too, if you feel like being a jerk. I'm pretty sure the police car is invincible, but the red car is what you're aiming at. And this can actually be difficult because the cars are actually like at full speed during this entire chase. And I thought I could laser the car to death, but you're only allowed to use the Buster. You can't use special weapons here. And that was really strange to find out. Very, very weird. But actually, the best way to handle the car is to actually use the jet skates and crash yourself into it, because this inflicts damage. You see? You can barely see, but it's actually causing the thing to smoke. But then you just wind up running into the car itself when it makes a turn. So you kind of have to, you know, do this correctly, I guess. The speedrunners are all crashing into it with the jet skates. But I got lucky and actually landed on top of the car.
Help! Help! He's gonna get us!
That voice sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Get out of here.
So yeah, just get on the car and start shooting.
Do anything! This is a mistake, a misunderstanding.
And now the car's destroyed. Hey, the police car crashed into me. That wasn't nice at all. But it was funny. No, actually, I think he dodged out of the way. Oh, and the fun part is you can actually, like, take the money and run away with it. Yes. It drops your karma to 0, but karma does nothing in Mega Man Legends 1, so you can actually make off with the money yourself. But if you, you know, turn it in, you get 20,000 Zenny. But if you take the money and run, you actually get 200,000 Zenny. So that's, you know, the speedrunners do that because it's the quickest source of cash, and they use it to upgrade the Grand Grenade to its maximum. But we're nice people, so we'll just turn in the money and collect 20,000. 200,000 is like, this late in the game, I don't even know what you would use it on, besides maybe the Shining Laser. But yeah. That's that. That's the last side quest. No special items or anything, just a chance to get a big chunk of money. Oh yeah, if you do make off with the cash, it does cause one other change that I will show off shortly. So after doing that side quest, depending on how it resolved, it actually affects something in the world. Because there is now a new building in downtown. So what you do is, it's on one of the corners of town. I always forget where it is because it's difficult to spot. Yeah, here it is. It's on this corner right here. Why, it seems somebody has opened up a burger restaurant. How nice. I could go for a burger right now. And who else could have opened it but the Servbots? Yes, if you remember from earlier, I don't think I showed it actually, but there's a Servbot in City Hall who says he's going to take out some money and open a restaurant. And if we look behind the counter, there they are. So yeah, Servbots, burger restaurant. But if you make off with all the money, then this building isn't here and their business is ruined. And you look like a huge jerk. So next time on Mega Man Legends, we will not be a jerk and actually finish the game.